Transform our darkness into thy light.
It's been said that to really know the people called brethren, you need to witness a love feast service. You could also say that to know the brethren, you need to listen to the words of their favorite hymn, Move in Our Midst.
Strike from our feet the fetters that bind.
Move in Our Midst is the #1 hymn, or it's the hymn that most of our people know.
I was really struck with what a plea, what a prayer this hymn is.
It asks God to come and move in our midst, but we can feel that movement as we sing it.
It's not surprising that the most popular hymn in Church of the Brethren tradition came out of a camping experience, which for many brethren is a mixture of spirituality, community, and immersion in God's creation. The creator of the lyrics to Move in Our Midst, Ken Morse, was inspired by the Vesper services at Camp Harmony in the early 1940s.
The whole thing was motivated, I'm sure, and informed by the camping experience and the Vesper services, and some of the imagery in the hymn are a definite reflection about coming down from Sunset Summit, and places like that related to Camp Harmony but they would apply to many other camps as well.
And for brethren, the act of coming down from the mountain feels right at home.
Brethren have always been people who didn't want to stay on the high holy hill. We wanted to go there, go to conference, go to youth conference, but then go back and go to work. And that hymn picks up both. It picks up the grandeur of the holy hill, but it also picks up the movement of God in our daily life.
We're in the hill to worship, or the mountain, and now we come down, and oh God, will you still be in our midst wherever we are? Go with us still, wherever we go. Ken sang, Spirit, go with us. I think that it captures who we are as a people, both in worship and moving out into the world.
It also captures the way brethren like to worship God.
I really think that in the Church of the Brethren we have a different understanding of what worship and Christian living are all about. Where some traditions have a real strong emphasis on God and me, just the two of us, there's this real piece for us as brethren that we are where 2 or 3 are gathered, that the Lord is there, that we are at work together as the body of Christ, and so it's moving in our midst. It's a plural. And it's God moving in our midst and going with us down from His holy hill to be in the midst of the world.
For almost a decade, Move in Our Midst had only 2 verses, both written before being set to music by Perry Huffaker. But then as the hymn was being readied for inclusion in the so-called Red Hymnal of the 1950s, it became necessary to have more verses. But when Huffaker wrote a 3rd stanza himself, Ken had to figure out how to tell Perry that while he considered him a musical genius, the words he had come up with were not exactly what he was looking for.
I remember that I looked at his 3rd stanza, and I did not feel that it was adequate, you see, to join the other 2.
So Ken sat down and wrote, "Strike from our feet the fetters that bind. Lift from our lives the weight of our wrong.
Teach us to love with heart, soul, and mind."
As I recall, I remember worked harder probably on the 3rd stanza because I was eager to, I was becoming a little more philosophical, theological there. I wanted to express our heart, soul, and mind to God. That was a little more conscious, you see, of relating to a definite biblical concept there than in some of the other stanzas.
The signature piece of music for the people called brethren tells us a bit about who we are and asks God to help us be the kind of people we want to be.
Touch our hands, strike from our feet the things that bind us, kindle within our hearts a new flame. And I thought, those are the very kinds of things that we need to be wrestling with in the 21st century within the Church of the Brethren. And so I think that while this is in some ways an historic hymn, it is really a 21st century hymn because it calls us to invite the Spirit of the living God to move in our midst in ways that we profoundly need God to move in our midst today, to touch us and transform us.